I think everyone's excited. You have a summer training. For me, obviously, it was coming from St. Louis. We didn't make the playoffs as well, so we had a long off season for me. And, it was a busy free agency. And then, kind of landing in Buffalo, just the excitement starts, the build and obviously the draft and, the way the team is, the culture that's being built here is something excited to be a part of. And I think it starts, today and moving forward. So I'm excited to be here.
Did you get a chance to see any of the prospects tournaments, see some of the young players that are coming along in this organization?
I didn't watch too much of it. Truthfully, I got a lot of hockey ahead of me, so skipping the prospect tournament's okay by me. So, but just hearing of the way guys performed, and communicating with the coaches and management, that they're really excited about some of these young players coming in here, and and I think for the older guys, the veteran guys, that's exciting. It's something that's going to push camp and it's going to push our season. That's for sure.
How do you approach this being? I think it's the first time you've changed teams. How do you approach fitting into the locker room and asserting yourself as the netminder in the role that you have to play?
Yeah, I've changed teams before. I went from Nashville to St. Louis. Well, Chicago to Nashville. I've changed it a few times. So, honestly, it's not as stressful as you think. Hockey's a pretty, the guys are pretty typical. You know what you're going to get. I think it's worse maybe for family. Making an adjustment to a new city and just outside the rink. The inside the rink's the easy part. You get 25 guys that become your buddies right away. And, so I think it's simple for me. My job kind of, systems and all that aside, goaltending it's kind of its own position, stopping the puck. I think for me, just getting a good communication in with defensemen. I like to handle the puck a lot. So, obviously getting communication, getting a feel for each other. And other than that, at the end of the day, it's just stopping the puck. So, it's complicated, but I try to simplify it as much as I can.
Carter, what is the mindset for you coming from a team that always was thinking Stanley Cup to a team now that's first just trying to rebuild and get back into the playoffs?
Yeah, I guess it's a different kind of pressure. With there we had a team that was expected to win all the time. Where, I think here they've established that they're growing, and we're trying to get better all the time. So, but at the same time, I don't want to sit here and say this room. We're not setting the bar low by any means. We want to be in the playoffs and we want to be a contender. But we also understand that having younger guys in the lineup, you're going to take your bumps and bruises. But, I think from day one here, we're going to build to win games and be a better team. And I think as a veteran guy, my job is to come in here and help create that culture and help win hockey games.
What's this like for you to come in as the number one? I know in other situations that hasn't exactly been the case, but you're coming here to be the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously I wanted to chance, going into July 1, a chance to play more minutes, and this was the optimal spot for me. Truthfully, I don't think a ton changes. The goalies back in the day when they were playing 70 games, you look at sometimes, Marty Brodeur playing 70-plus games. Those days have kind of come and gone. You mostly have like a 50-30 split for majority of teams, majority of successful teams. And I think you look at, the two cup teams last year, Vegas and Washington, at both times their depth goaltending carried a lot of weight. So for me, I want to take on a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I understand that we need two good goalies to be successful. And I think coming in here with Linus and, Scott and the depth goalies we have, we're all going to push each other. But at the same time, I want to use my experience and my skill set to play more minutes and help this team win.
What have you learned about Linus in the 4 weeks around him?
He's a good kid. Likes to talk about hockey equipment. He knows his gear. He's a smart kid. Getting to know him a little bit. He's a good attitude. He's fun to be around. Which is good. It's a long season, and he's got a tremendous skill set. I've skated with him a few times now. He's a really big goalie, which is something you can't really teach. But he moves well. He handles the puck pretty well, and it's something going into camp. I think as we get to play more in game situations, I hope that we can use each other to pick each other's brain, and he can lean on me, and I can use my experience of playing in different arenas and different situations to help him get through the lump of playing a full season is a lot different in the NHL than he's been called up, he's spent time, but the wear and tear and the travel and the stuff we deal with, just the mental grind. So hopefully I can help him in that sense.
Your whole career has been spent in the West. What's it going to be like being over here? How does that change both travel off the ice, but just on the ice and style of play?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think travel-wise will be nice. It's not as many long trips, and you get to spend a lot more nights in your own bed. And a lot less time on a bus or a plane, and so that's obviously a benefit. And I played a lot of Eastern games too in my career, because a lot of times when I was in that backup role, I would be playing the back-to-backs against an Eastern Conference when it was a division rival sometimes, especially early in my career in Nashville. I didn't play a lot playing with Pecorine. Obviously he played a lot, so a lot of times those games were the Eastern Conference where they wanted to give me those games outside of Central Division opponents. So I think I'm prepared for anything. At the end of the day, the hockey is fairly similar. Some people talk about the East being a little more open and the West defended harder as Central, but for me, it's at the end of the day, it's just stopping the puck, right? So you got to kind of go in with that mindset, and I'm excited for the challenge and looking forward to it.
Carter, as a puck handling goalie, are you looking forward to maybe the chemistry or playing with a guy like Darlene, who likes to jump into the play and just building some kind of a deal with him?
Yeah, I think everybody, talking to the defenseman, I think everyone's excited that I handle the puck. I don't know, in years past, I have had paid enough attention to the decor and how they handle with their goalies, but, you kind of build that chemistry as you go. And for me, I'm not trying to do anything that's flashy. Truthfully, I'm trying to be simple. These D-men can handle the puck a lot better than I can, so truthfully, I think just getting the rims and making little plays and getting the puck out of your zone is, then you're giving up less chances of getting scored on, and at the end of the day, you're winning more hockey games. So that's my overall goal, is to, not to be too cute with it, just give it to the D-men, and then they can get out of the zone. And we got a good group of D-men that can move their feet, which is definitely going to help us.
Jack just talked about how in his 4 years here, he already feels more comfortable with guys getting things off their chest or wanting to get fixed. How are you with that? Do you just focus on stopping the puck, or do you look team-wise at what? Yeah,
definitely. I've always been like a big team guy. I think in years past when I haven't played as many games, sometimes you're the sports psychologist on the bench when you're not playing in the room, because everyone thinks you see everything. So sometimes it's not necessarily what I see or know. It's just having a good positive attitude, and it's something that, as athletes, we're so fortunate to get to do this for a living and a livelihood. So it's something I try to keep in perspective. But at the same time, I think so far what I've seen here is a lot of guys have really opened up and tried to become vulnerable, knowing where they need to improve and what needs to get better, because obviously the results haven't been there the last few years. And I think as a core group, we're all committed to, turning this thing around and winning hockey games and getting in the playoffs and becoming a better team.
You played in Nashville. You played in Nashville, and a lot of good defensemen there. Darlene shows up here in Buffalo. You know all the hype about him. Are you excited to have him in front of you? Yeah, it's exciting time. It's one of those things. There's only so many first overall picks. So getting a chance to play with a young kid like that is going to be exciting. To see him grow, and I think us as a veteran group, we have to do a good job of protecting him. Whether it's on the ice, off the ice, because especially a kid coming over from Sweden, it's a different culture, it's a different lifestyle. So I think helping out the best we can with advice and just over time you experience so many different things playing in this league. So, what you can take away, the good and the bad, and ways to get around it. So, for us, and then once the hockey starts, that's going to be the fun part. I'm sure for him, he's ready to play. He's probably sick of talking about it as well.
Thanks, everyone.